Hello class, my name is Cassandra Laratondo and the book that I will be presenting is Butterflies in My Stomach by Serge Bloch. Butterflies in My Stomach could most appropriately be used to teach second grade students so that they understand the idioms and metaphors used throughout the text. It is important that the student is able to determine what an idiom is and why authors use idioms. Butterflies in My Stomach and Other School Hazards by Serge Bloch. Butterflies in my stomach. Who can determine what this phrase means and use it in a sentence? On the first day of school, my mom said I got up on the wrong side of the bed. She asked if we needed to have a heart-to-heart talk, so I wouldn't bottle up my feelings. As I left the house, Dad told me to put my best foot forward. On the way to the bus stop, my sister told me that on her first day of school, she had butterflies in her stomach, and I think I might have them too. Then she told me to hurry up because we'd be in a real pickle if we missed the bus. When I sat down, the bus driver asked if I was feeling blue, or maybe just a little under the weather. When I got to school, my new teacher said hello, but I didn't answer. "Has a cat got your tongue?" he asked me. And then he said he was all ears when I was ready to come out of my shell. He read us a funny book. The kid next to me said he was laughing his head off. Our teacher told him to zip it and hold still, even though he had ants in his pants. Then the teacher said that if he didn't settle down, that he would have to go to the principal because she was the big cheese. In gym class, I kept dropping the ball, and the gym teacher said if I wanted to be top banana in sports, I'd have to practice. Now, top banana. What do you think that means? Use the context clues to figure it out. It was time to eat. "Why the long face?" the school cook asked. Then she told me not to worry so much, because we're all in the same boat on the first day of school. I went to play, but the teacher said we had to go back inside because it was about to start raining cats and dogs. I peeked out the window, hoping to see my dog, Roger. No luck. During library time, the librarian told us that she loved getting lost in a book, and that we would too. "When you read," she said, "the world is your oyster." She said we would take some books home, but if we lost them, we'd be up a creek without a paddle. I asked her if she had any stories about a boy who misses his dog. She told me I was an open book, and that it was fine to wear my heart on my sleeve. But when I asked her if I could bring Roger to school with me tomorrow, she told me not to open that can of worms. I was starting to get a headache, so the librarian sent me to the school nurse. The nurse let me lie down. She said that she could see that school really wasn't my cup of tea. I gave her a funny look, and she said, "It's only your first day of school. Don't throw away the baby out with the bathwater." "But what if Roger forgets all about me while I'm here?" I asked her. "Let's cross that bridge when we come to it," she said. The nurse took me back to my classroom. "Soldier on. Tomorrow will be a better day," she said. "I'll keep an eye out for you." Our teacher gave us an assignment to finish for tomorrow. "I expect you all to be busy bees tonight," he said. That made me laugh a little. "Homework is for the birds," the kid next to me grumbled. I grinned at him and smiled back. Before I knew it, the bell rang and it was time to go home. The bus driver asked me how my day went. She said that school sometimes is a tough nut to crack, but that every cloud has a silver lining. I had no idea what that meant. But when the bus pulled in front of the house, I was as happy as a puppy with two tails. This book was full of some uncommon figurative language. and some figurative language that we hear every day. What do you think the author's reasoning was behind using all this figurative language in the book? Secondary sources for butterflies in my stomach. My first secondary source is from readwritethink.org, and this is where students can use idioms in sentences, determine their metaphorical meaning, and use the idiom in another sentence. This allows for students to decipher meanings for new idioms and apply them. The next secondary source is from YouTube. It's a video called Everyday Idioms, Figurative Language Made Easy. My last secondary source for the students is the Scholastic Dictionary of Idioms. This is a useful resource because it explains the origin of the idiom, it gives an explanation, and includes a picture. Serge Bloch both illustrates and writes this book, and beginning with the cover page, he uses literal illustrations of the figurative language he is presenting. For example, on this page, he states that every cloud has a silver lining, and therefore represents clouds as pieces of tin foil. On the next page, Bloch states that homework is for the birds, and by saying this, he represents a picture with birds. The definition for this idiom can be found in the Scholastic Book of Idioms that I have presented to the students. Critical thinking opportunities. The first instance that students have to think critically is when I ask them who could define what butterflies in my stomach means. This appeals to making plausible inferences, predictions, and interpretations. The next opportunity that students have to think critically is when I ask them what top banana meant. This is an idiom that is uncommon, and therefore the students have to listen critically in order to use context clues to determine the meaning. The last critical thinking opportunity that the students will have is when I ask them what the author's purpose of using an idiom is. The students will likely open discussion, and this will assist in developing their confidence, which will result in them giving answers that make more sense. Books related to butterflies in my stomach. After our main character has survived the first day of school, you can join him and his dog Roger in Reach for the Stars. And also, you are what you eat.